With the coronation of King Charles approaching very fast here on May 6th, I thought that we would take a look at Prince Harry's chart and get kind of a general feeling of what's going on astrologically and try to interpret the chart as in what's going on in Prince Harry's mind, what could he be thinking about, focusing on right now. That's the kind of information we can get out of an astrology chart. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. For those of you that are new to my channel, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get all of my videos. I do all sorts of videos, celebrities, royal family, monthly predictions. And remember that I practice Vedic sidereal astrology, not Western tropical astrology. So your sign may be different using this version of astrology. Also, if you're interested in a personal private reading, check down below for details. 40% off for the remainder of April if you use codename Thor. So let's go ahead and take a look at Prince Harry's chart, and we're going to get an idea of what the astrological energies say about Prince Harry at the moment. Quick disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only, and I'm only speculating as to what the astrological energies mean for Prince Harry. And these are all allegedlys. Okay. So there's a lot of astrological events that are happening right now, literally on April 21st. You may have remembered that, oops, let's draw the sun here. We had a solar eclipse in the sign of Aries, and we just had Mercury start going retrograde. So that was April 21st to May 14th. And we just had Jupiter change signs into the sign of Aries. So there's a lot of focus right now on the fifth house of Aries in Prince Harry's chart. You're going to want to make sure that in your own chart that you're checking out where all these transits are happening, because that's going to be a strong area that's emphasized for your personal chart. Now, the fifth house, interestingly enough, it does have to do with things like royalty. So royalty, celebrity, and even it can represent a focus on children. Okay, because it does represent our children in particular, usually the first child, but children in a general level. So this idea of being focused on the children, but also this royalty and celebrity whole situation. He's going to the coronation, but Meghan Markle isn't going to the coronation. So this is extremely important, this idea of celebrity, royalty. I also want to bring up, and I'm cleaning up the chart here, the bhukti that Prince Harry's in to get a general sense of also, what's influencing Prince Harry at this moment. So I guess I can't clean up this. So we'll just leave here the sun. This is the solar eclipse. Okay, so in Vedic astrology, we do use something called the Vimshatari Dasha system. So all of you that are watching this, you're each in a astrological planetary period right now, which is called a dasha. So if we look at Prince Harry's, what dasha he's in Moon Bhukti. Okay, and that is from September 10th, 2022 until March 11th, 2024. Okay. So essentially for the next year, Prince Harry is going to be in this moon period. Now, what happens is when you're running a bhukti or a planetary period in Vedic astrology, it means that the focus is going to be on the moon and what it represents in your chart. Okay. So that's the focus in Prince Harry's life at the moment, the moon. And what does the moon represent as a general indicator? It represents homeland. So it represents home. It represents, the country you're from. So like I said, homeland, homeland. It represents our emotions, okay? Our emotional state. Whether we're happy, whether we're content with things. It can represent family life on a certain level. Sometimes moon periods can be quite enjoyable because there's this daily rhythm of life, and usually it's surrounding family activities. However, I do want to bring this up. So we do have this idea of moon, and also moon also represents, I forgot to bring this up, like patriotism. So this idea of patriotism. So he wants to go to the coronation because, there's this nostalgia moon also represents nostalgia. Okay, memories from the past. So there's definitely this feeling of nostalgia. He wants to be part of this thing. He wants to feel like he belongs. But definitely there's some controversy surrounding Prince Harry, obviously, since he released the book Spare and that Netflix series as well, and the whole Megxit situation. Obviously, there's some controversy. But from his point of view in his chart, he still is very nostalgic. So whatever we've read in the media, I feel like there's still this idea of nostalgia, memories, wanting to reconnect with your family. There is kind of a little bit of a sadness to this feeling. And let me also point out to you that moon in Prince Harry's chart it rules the eighth house. So remember, in Vedic astrology, we not only look at where it is, but what house it rules. Eighth house is all about transformation, but also difficulty. It's the house of it's known as one of the evil houses. So a lot of difficulty and transformation. And the eighth house can even represent things like sudden upheavals or emotional upheavals. And that's really what I want to say. This is an emotional upheaval of some sort, because eighth house is the house of, it literally rules things like earthquakes, volcanic explosions. So think about that on a human psyche type of level. That's what the eighth house represents, like this internal, volcanic explosion that's happening. So this is definitely emotionally extremely impactful right now. So no matter what, even if he's showing a really calm face right now, like he's looking really stoic, he's looking really serious, this is absolutely having an effect. Also, I wanted to point out that if we look at the moon chart, it's fourth from moon. So moon rules fourth from moon. Again, this is this idea of emotional nostalgia that's being felt right now. Fourth house homeland, emotional nostalgia. Also, there's a lot of memories coming up about his mother at the moment. So if you want to think about Princess Diana, he's thinking a lot about that. So he's probably taking quite a trip down memory lane right now. This is one of those things where I feel like, based on my interpretation of the chart, obviously, but I feel like he wants to be there just out of this feeling of wanting to reconnect with his family, wanting to reconnect with the homeland. And I know we can debate about whether it was a good or bad decision for him to, do the Oprah interview, all this stuff, and cause all this drama. But, maybe on a deep emotional level, I think when I'm looking at this chart, with the eighth house, I feel like there's almost this questioning of things. Like there's not this sense of surety about this. There's a sense of like, okay, did I make the right decision? Okay, but I'm really missing home on a deep level. But now, I've really committed to this whole thing of being this outspoken person who's criticizing the royal family. Okay, but maybe this is turbulence. I mean, eighth house is like, I'm turbulent. I don't know what I'm really feeling. I'm kind of going up in the air, and maybe, in his private relationship with Meghan, maybe she has to try to convince him, like, okay, we're making the right decision with what we're doing. But, maybe deep down, he's like, I don't know. That's what the eighth house represents. Also, keep in mind that transiting Rahu is in the sign of Aries until October 30th of 2023. And Rahu's known as a malefic influence. Again, it's in the same sign as his moon. He's in moon Bhukti. This is like so much upheaval. And there's so much there's so much difficulty with the emotions because Rahu represents the shadow that crosses over the moon. There's this idea of like really not knowing what to do. When the shadow, like when you have a full lunar eclipse, basically a shadow goes over the moon. That's what Rahu is. Rahu's the shadow, and it represents disrupting the light of consciousness. So really like this steady stream of really having this sure confidence about what to do is being eclipsed at the moment. And we just had a solar eclipse. So add that on into the whole equation. So this is pretty crazy at the moment. So I do see a lot of difficulty. I also see a lot of difficulty when we're talking about this moon period being in the eighth house. And then remember, if you watch my other video where we looked at Meghan's chart, Meghan is in a K2 period. This is not a good period relationship wise for Harry and Meghan. He's in a period of the eighth lord right now. She's in a period of K2. These are both separative type of influences. So whatever's happening right now, what I can say astrologically is this thing is like pulling them more apart. So this is not bringing them together at all. If anything, this could cause some serious disruptions in the relationship. Okay. And remember, I did make some predictions. I do feel like around the time that Harry enters his Jupiter Mahadasha in March of 2025, I feel like there's going to be some idea of moving back home or something, going back home, being in the homeland. I do feel like he's going to end up in the UK eventually. I feel like he's going to move back. Okay. So we'll see how this plays out because I do see extreme difficulty, especially in 2024, with the relationship with Harry and Meghan. I talked about that in my other video. He's going to enter a Mars period, which is activating the 12th house and K2 and Mars here. It's going to be a quite turbulent period. So we'll have to see what happens then. And of course, I'll be making more videos. But right now, the feeling is nostalgic, and there's also this uncertainty about like what to do, and there's this negative influence that's happening on the relationship, the marriage. I feel in the chart as well. So that's what I got for the update of Prince Harry right now. Let me know what you all think down below in the comments. I definitely appreciate your comments. Also, give me suggestions for videos, and I'll always look into if I can do the video or not. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.